Seal Subin replies that awakening powers has nothing to do with hard work. If he awakened a power he didn't have before, that just means he didn't know what it did, or didn't realize he had it. All that happened was that by luck, he ended up using it. The fact that he got a recommendation to get into this place even as rank F, and even the fact that Seal Subin was also there, all of it was because they were lucky. And saying he'll become a hunter without recognizing something so obvious just shows how immature he is. And that mentally he's really at the same level as his sister. Man, obviously our boy already went in to land a punch. It looked like it was gonna hit him straight in the face, but I don't know if something happened right there. The guy is still standing untouched. Worse than that, the sister gets startled, and when she looks to the side, our boy is on the ground. She asks what happened, and Seal Subin says he tricked out of nowhere, but he's fine. But Sanyun has no idea what happened, man. Right at the moment when his punch was about to land on the guy's face, the trajectory changed and he ended up on the floor. And the bastard still turns to our boy and says that someone like him who can't control himself and just goes around punching like that is only going to stay in the hunter's reputation. Turns away saying that if he had any brains he'd just give up. But then man, something grabs his foot. It's our boy's porcelain chain. Again, the sister gets startled, and now soon is the one on the floor. And then the protagonist says that maybe, yeah, he ended up in this place out of sheer luck. But no way in hell he was going to give up by choice. Seal Subin says he can stay there as long as he wants, but with that rank he's got, he's not going to survive. And our boy just replies that I want to see that. Midnight. They'd meet to several things. Yo, calling the guy for a midnight meetup. What is this kid? A romantic duel? Sometime later it starts pouring rain and Sanyun is remembering the fairy saying she didn't want to disappear. She suddenly wakes up and sees she's alone in the room. Gets up, calls for Sanyun, but notices he's not there. So there she is in the hallway wondering where he went while dying of fear. Out of nowhere, she's startled by Woo Jin right behind her, asking what she's doing there. She answers by asking him the same thing, and he says they're going through some stuff in a room and invites her to come along. She gets all happy and says yes, and forgets all about our boy. Already arriving at the room, there's a little group laughing, maybe our first waifu. As soon as Woo Jin sees the girl's face, man, he hits all awkward. Weirdly, out of nowhere, he turns around and tells that friend of his Unbe that he's leaving. The friend asks why, and he says she didn't mention that girl was going to be there. Our boy's sister, though, already walks and all happy, saying the place is full of food. The orange-haired girl tells Woo Jin not to just stand there like an idiot and come sit too. And now what he says fine and joins in. The girl asks who the new one is and he answers that she's a friend of a friend or something like that. And when Sanyun says hi, the other one doesn't look happy at all. What's going on, man? So much drama on this boat. Purium is kind of confused about Sanyun being there and asks where Sanyun went. She says she has no idea. When she woke up, he wasn't there. And of course, Purium also notices Subin wasn't in the room. Plus, the interaction between them seemed kind of weird. Maybe something was going on between those two. At that exact moment, the two are facing each other. And our boy wants to know why the other guy has a raincoat on. Subin says obviously because it's raining. But how's he going to fight while holding an umbrella? Our boy says that's the best way to keep the water off his body. The two stare each other down, both wondering if the other is an idiot. Right then, both of them also begin activating their powers. And Subin says that the power he has is the spirit of water. It was raining and they were surrounded by the sea. In a place like that, his power was amplified and if he lost control, our boy could end up dying. But Sanyun just throws the umbrella aside and asks, wasn't it him who wanted to start this? In the same second, the guy says, all right then. The spirit of water starts flying towards Sanyun and fires off a blast. A laser man. He dodges, which surprises the guy, then activates the chain and throws it in his direction. The dude says that's impressive. Of course, the chain is easily destroyed. For an F rank, it wasn't bad. It was just weird that the chain was weaker than a real one. Sanyun's already in shock. Man. The bastard had 2 spirits. I'm just here to say that with what he's using, he's not going to accomplish anything. The resistance was so low, it couldn't even be used to attack or defend. Now there's our boy doing flips, dodging everything. The only thing's got left. Once again, he pulls the chain, launches another attack, but the thing shatters against the wall. And the bastard even asks if that's the only useless tactic he's got. You should have realized by now that he hasn't taken a single step since this started. It's time he understood why he doesn't belong in this place. The boy says that it's exactly because he hasn't moved or taken a single step that he didn't notice. When the guy looks down, man, there were some little chains by his boot. And the worst part is our boy had already hooked them to the grate before the guy could do anything and pulled him backward into the wall. And our boy says that he's only been using the same tactic because it's the only thing he can do. I thought he was about to drop an epic line, but the kid's just humiliating himself. Now, yes, he really humiliates the full man, saying that he was bluffing, apparently because he doesn't seem to have that high of a rank. That's because if he did, he wouldn't be getting beat up by an F rank like him. Sabin then changes his expression and says that, all right, we'll start taking this seriously. Sonia tells him to just come, but now we're back in the room with that buff guy saying this is theft. Looks like the girl there pulled an SS rank character, full of steel stats and all that, and she's kind of awkward, saying she just got lucky. Sabin asks what this is, what they come explain into board game. It seems to analyze the power of the person creating it, and the character sort of matches that. Damn, so that girl there's S of rank man broken. Now it's Parim's turn, who clicks the little button and creates a B rank mage. What? I didn't really like the concept of this game, bro. The game's supposed to be bad S, it's gonna be trash, just leave that for real life. But Parim is explaining that the same tech use in this game is the one he uses in the training equipment. Well, man, he handed it to Suyin and told her to test it out. Thank God the thing didn't activate, but she said, wanting to know exactly why not. He's kind of confused, the blonde guy has no idea, either in the orange-hair girl says maybe she's too weak or doesn't have enough power. When suddenly, the device says that player 5's ability couldn't be analyzed. And it was estimated that she might be a regressor. The game was explicit, man, with the girl being tortured. Everyone gets shocked and she receives a random secret class. Everyone gets excited, saying they're jealous, that this is insane. Wuzhen then turns and asks if this is really true. Then he remembers that Ji Young told her she had to keep his secret at all costs, that she was a returner. She asks why, and he explained that most regressors come with a bunch of problems. Like her, for example, who simply lost 12 years of her life. And that's why they had a hard time fitting into society and end up committing all sorts of crimes and looked down on. That's why many are considered walking disasters. With a reputation like that, it's better that no one even knows or she'll end up being judged. Back in the game, she's all awkward, trying to explain in all, but Wuzhen just tells her to spit it out already and stop stalling. He wants to hear her story. He seems excited, wanting to know about the other world and what happened there. She gets the Dragon Slayer class, while everyone's curious to know more about her. Even though the others are excited, she obviously should be hiding it, right? The poor thing's a kid, weak-minded and already getting all excited, right? Because no one's scared of her. The brown-hair girl says they go care about that, and at that moment she gets all excited and says okay, she's gonna tell them. Of course the orange-haired one probably doesn't like this one bit and right away says she heard that most regressors face countless creatures and opponents. By any chance, had she already killed someone? Right then, so he remembers the guy whose chest she blew a whole crew. But just when it's getting interesting again, we're back at the core. What Subin's saying is a shame, because even though his techniques and strategy were good, none of that was enough since he ended up on the floor. And with that, he must have realized that sometimes the easy power some people get is stronger than everyone else's hard work. That's why many give up on their dreams because of a low rank. While others, man, already showing